Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on Lumion Content Library. I am Neil and I'm going to be with you for the next 40 minutes and I will explain you the different way to handle the content library. The content library could be mainly of two types. For instance, you might be having the content library inside the Lumion. Lumion has a vast library of the for trees, the people, the furniture, the animated objects, the animals, etc. However, we can also import the library from the external 3D objects. A lot of a time that's a requirement. We understand that, and content will make your renders beautiful. You might be having any type of project. You might be having the interior project, the exterior project, could be sometime the landscape project or maybe infrastructure project, any type of project to deal with. You need the content, a right content, to make the renders beautiful, to make the project more photorealistic, and to make the project look more relevant. So we are going to see in this webinar how to use the Lumion library at its best and how you can import the library. Here is the agenda. We will first take an overview of the Lumion content library. We'll just talk about what is where, how we can place the trees, and how can get the transportation library, and etc, etc. We will also see how to import the object in Lumion. This is a main interest point. I understand a lot of people want to know how can they import their object in the Lumion. We'll also talk about the object placement advanced option. This is very interesting. You have hundreds of objects, sometimes thousands of objects. How can you control them? How can you delete all of them together? How can you move all of them together? How can rotate them together? How can define the space? How can uh, you know change the height or change the textures? We will talk about some of the features, some of the cool features available in Lumion that will help you do it. We'll talk about object animation and of course the object render test. Now let's jump to the live software. This is my Lumion screen. I hope you guys can see my cursor, and I'm going to use one of the example project. Like, we have a lot of a project, but I'm going to use this villa, which is a simple project, but I'm sure we will be able to utilize this project for our object library webinar. Um, like, when you start the Lumion screen, you typically have two options, of course. Like, you import a project, maybe from SketchUp, from Revit, from Allplan, from Rhinoceros, from AutoCAD, or from any 3D software. Once you import it, you always have an option to apply the materials, to put the library around it, to make the project more realistic. You can put an environment, like this is the project. You can see this is a live project. This is not a video. It's like you do everything within the software. The software is live. You see the reflections and you can feel what is happening here. So that's why we call it world's fastest rendering software. Now, to talk about the library, as you can see, we have a lot of options once again. So you have nature. We call it the landscape, where you have a lot of trees. You have a fine detail nature, where you can actually find a lot of very highly detailed trees, and this is available in Lumion 10 onwards. This is not available in the previous version. You can find the people and animals and the effects and the indoors library, like chairs, etc. Outdoors transportation, you have the lot of lights, and of course, just to mention, in the transportation you have all type of vehicle available. Then after the lights, maybe you have utilities and the sound. like sometime you want to place the sound, maybe the sound of the fountain, sound of the water, sound of the birds, etc. Now, you know, to start with, to start with the object library, the objects are nothing but the ready-made object or the element that are available within the software, or you want to import from other software, and they can use them as a 3D object that will help you make your project more realistic. So for instance, I'm using one of the tree um, from the fine detail nature. Once again, I like this tree. This is one of my favorite tree because I like the way it looks. I mean, you can see the level of realism this tree has. I mean, it looks like you're watching some real video. You're not into the software. You can see the leaves, you can see the kind of realism in this, and this is already animated, not to mention, right? You can see the leaves are moving, with the air. You can also define the air direction as and when you want to, so it could be a project requirement. So everything will support you because this is a pre-animated library. Now that's how you place a single object. I mean, it's okay, it's easy to place, but just think about it, like you want to bring your own object. Maybe you have prepared some kind of object in an external software, for instance, let's say SketchUp, and you want to import it. How do you do it? Like what I'm doing right now is I have some of the objects available and I can straight away import those SketchUp file. So right now I have one poolside furniture that I want to import. So what I did is I just went to the folder, selected a particular file and say, okay, I want to import the file in the Lumion. And what you see here is you can of course categorize the library. You can have multiple options. So right now I'm putting this in the external furniture and say, okay, Lumion is reading the file, and here we go. We can see the object that was made in the SketchUp. Now we know this is like not placed rightly. We really want to change it. It's not looking cool, So what do we do? There are a lot of options, of course, within the Lumion. So you have selection option. When you are in the selection mode, you can select the object. Maybe let's go a little closer and try to see this object and try to rotate this now. So I click the control point and rotate the object 180 degree. Once I do it, I got to move the object. So how do we move it? Again, selection mode and move it the way you want to. Right? Easy, simple. Okay, let's move ahead. So once you do it, I mean, you can just have a look at the object. So probably you can just try to have a feel from a different angle, and you can see the type of material it has. Not to mention, these materials are already defined in a SketchUp. So these are the material that you will have defined in the SketchUp, and we are by default bringing those material from the SketchUp, and you have a lot of properties. But in Lumion, you can change the material of each sub element. For instance, you have a wooden material, you can change it. You have the cushioning material on the top, you can change it. Again, there are two types of customization. One is the object level customization. What is that? You create the 3D object the way you want to in any 3D modeling software, bring into Lumion and put it here. Number two, customization. You can create your own material, or you can go to the website of any material manufacturer. For example, the carpet tile manufacturer. You can go to their website and take a bitmap. Once you take it, you can create that material within the Lumion and then use that material at all the places. So both type of customization are available. Your own object and your own material, you can do that. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to explore the existing library within the Lumion. Like I have this object, I'm trying to see some of the material. I selected this wooden material, but you see the level of reflection, you know. I just want to change some of the properties, so I can use the cursor, like I can reduce the gloss, make it higher or lower, and then maybe I go to reflectivity. Just you have to move left and right and you can change all the properties, as simple as that. And maybe some relief. So I don't want this object to shine much. I just want to change some scale. You see the way you can change the scale of the material, and once you do it, probably you just want to make it 1.1. No, let me go back to 1.1. Yes, it's looking okay, and I just have to say yes, I'm good with this. Once we do it, we want to change another material, and make sure you have a object in a SketchUp with a different material. Then only you will be able to change it. Like I'm changing the material for two separate elements. So it's happening because I have defined this two different material in SketchUp itself. Right, so I have a leather material. Probably I just want to use one of the leather. You can see the texture, how high quality leather is that, and maybe I can try some more leathers, and probably, yeah, this is looking good. I can select it. So once this is being done, you can see this is your own object. You brought it inside and you have placed it. So number one, it's easy to import your own object. Okay, it's like just click on the folder, get your objects, and customize it as per the library. You can also customize the material. Maybe you would like to attend some of the future webinar. We are going to talk in a detail about the material customization. Now as I have this one furniture, and I feel there should be few more. So easily Lumion gives you option to copy this. Some of the cool features, like you just pick this up, press Alter and move it, right? So perhaps I just want to keep it here, and again I press the Alter and move it, maybe one here, and one more copy, so I put it here. Cool. Now let's just try to see from the top how does my object looks like. Okay, it supports all the environmental feature as well, and then maybe I go backside and try to see how they are looking from the backside, because I really want to check whether the material and the kind of things I have given matching with the environment and the project or not. So I try to see from the multiple angle, and the most important thing, I can take the renders, and Lumion is very fast when it comes to rendering. So I just took a click here, and I'm trying to customize some of the styles. Perhaps I try to put some maybe effects, and I say some reflection. Let me check. Maybe I put some reflection on the water. Maybe I put some more reflection on this wooden area and this wall, and perhaps maybe the object itself that we have brought, and all those other area which I think should be good to display when we actually render this. Yep. Okay, we can go ahead. Looks good. Okay, let me just set up the right angle, and now we are going to have a render test. We'll just see how quickly you can render the things. I mean, it's happening at a lightning speed. You just have to do the things. I mean, define the settings and say render. You have four options. Right now I'm putting the render at a high definition quality, and maybe I just give it a name 9. Save it, and here we go. You can see the rendering speed. Already you are getting the feel of the photorealistic image, and you see 9 second, 11, and I think it's gonna take more 21 seconds. Just imagine you are getting your renders in 30-35 seconds, and look at the quality. This is the power of Lumion. When it comes to Lumion, Lumion is easy, it gives you the best results, and it's lightning fast. So this is how it works. Now maybe once the render is ready, we can go to the particular folder and try to see how the render looks like. Wow, amazing. This is what we get in 35 seconds. It's in front of you, you know. Right, let's move ahead. So we spoke about the object that we brought from external software, you know. Let's talk about some of the objects that we already have in a Lumion. Lumion is very strong when it comes to the landscape library. We have thousands of trees, you know. Do you see this project? There are a lot of trees around it, but I think I would like to put more trees, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this nature tab and place one of the tree. Now let's try to see how we can control the features. Before we go ahead, like you can see, a lot of tabs are there inside one tab, and you see for a particular type of the tree you will find another subcategories where you can find the thousands of trees. It could be flower, palm tree, leafless tree, the palm tree, or it could be normal tree, you know. So you have a lot of options. You see how vast the tree library is. Now perhaps I choose one of the tree, maybe I like this one, and I just place it, and that's how we place a single tree. Maybe I put it here. All right, looks perfect. And that was a single placement, but now we have options to put multiple tree together. So I draw the line from one point to another, and you see there are 4 trees. Now we will have fun here. You can see there are trees. Okay, you have 5 trees. You can increase the number of trees, right? On the right side you have 5 trees, left side, and then you have this direction, the direction of the trees. You can randomize the direction. You don't want the same direction for all the trees. You can also randomize the spacing, right? It shouldn't look uniform, and you can renderize the offset line. So for instance, you don't want everything in a single line. You can do that. Not only that, you can add the trees. I mean, I don't want one type of trees. I want to add multiple types. So what I'm doing right now, I'm adding a tree. So you can see one tree has been changed, second has been changed, and now again I can control. So automatically the software will take the trees. Perhaps I want to take the third one. How does it react? You see, you have 3 type of tree, and you control everything within this length. All the properties like number of trees, direction, randomize. This is for a very short length, but remember, you can do it for a longer length also. For instance, you want to keep a landscaping on both the side of highway. Just to mention, this is also possible on the curve. It's not only for the straight line, right? So now let's say I like this grass and I want to show this cluster option. So basically I do just have to click the land where I want to place the cluster. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking a specific type of grass and clicking at a multiple places to place the grass at a cluster, and a lot of properties of course can be controlled here. So once we do it, we can go back to these options, and then the most important and a very useful feature is rather I would say it's a very powerful, because I can choose a type of a tree, and then I can just you put it as a paint placement. You can see the number of tree, you can see the power of software, how many trees together it is placing. Thousands of trees, hundreds of trees you can put together, but still you are working in a live rendering mode, right? Just you can also control the density here, and not to mention this can be controlled in a multiple way. For instance, I select a particular tree. Okay, let me go here. I just want to select the particular tree, maybe little ahead. Perfect. So I select this one. Oh, just to mention, in the setting you can control the quality of your model. Imagine you have a project where you have a 10,000 tree. Your system is not capable to handle that. What you can do, just move your cursor here and define the star. What quality you want to see in the editing mode. Like you want to have super high quality, you can do it, but recommendation is do it when you have a very high configuration system, um, and you have a less library. You don't have thousands of trees. Of course, whenever you render the things will come properly. Now I'm selecting this tree, and I can select this button, so it will automatically zoom to it. This is another option, find selected tree. So when I select it, it will help me find a tree in the library. And then if I see, like, I have some more options. For instance, I can say select all the identical objects. Now this means that all the same type of trees would be selected, so I can select all of them together. I don't need them. Somehow I have placed them, but I don't need them. I can select all of them together and delete it. Alright, so these are the controls that you really need when you deal with the large mass of the objects. Good trees are one of the type, but then you might be having the people or car or any other type of objects. Now we're back to the main area, and I think it would be a good idea to bring in some people library. So in a SketchUp, I have some people library which I have downloaded from the SketchUp warehouse, and I would use them in a Lumion. So again, there could be multiple type of people, so what we can do is we can go back to this option, and we can choose one of the character. So we see a lot of dirt here, so we want somebody to clean it. So probably we choose a character, we choose a housekeeping staff, and of course when you import it, as I said, you can always categorize the people. Since this is an Indian family, Indian characters, we can put it. Now let's go to the corner of the building and try to place it. Maybe I try to put it here. Now you see, previously as we used the multiple placement option, you see here the object has been placed at a multiple location. I mean, also you see this is a 2D object, so when you see from the 2D angle, you see a kind of a plane. But you don't want multiple object, you just want a single object. So what you can do for that, I mean, either you can select one by one and delete them, or you can use the previously shown option, that was to select all the same nature object together and delete them. So that's what I'm doing right now. You select all of them together, it will automatically identify, doesn't matter where they are in the project. So this is a really nice feature, I love it. Again, I'm importing that, and well, I have to rename it because the name should not clash. Put it in the Indian people library. Okay, let's go ahead. Lumion is analyzing the object, and then I can place it. I can place the object Well, of course I have to go to single placement before that. So I'm placing the object maybe here. I go to selection mode. Perfect. Let's try to see it from this angle. Fantastic. Looks good, but there is an improvement that we expect. Like as I said, this object is a 2D object, and it doesn't look good when you see from the side. It's a 2D plane. In Lumion, we have an option to make the object face camera. Doesn't matter from which angle you see. All you have to do is just go to the material, click on the billboard, select it and say yes. Okay, now see the fun. It was a 2D object, it was a 2D plane, but it's not a 2D object anymore. You see it from any angle. The object will face you. You see? You move it, move your camera. Maybe I go a little right side. Perfect. Fantastic. You see? The object is going to face the camera. Doesn't matter where you go. This is a nice feature. Use it. So, this is not only the one object that we can have. We can import multiple objects, and a lot of the time we hear that we want to have Indian people in the Lumion. We want to import the Indian people. So that's what I'm showing you. You can use these tricks. You can find a lot of Indian people object on the internet. Just import it and use it in a Lumion. It's that easy. I tried few things. I'm trying some more in front of you. So these are again Indian characters. Maybe I have to do the same setting. As I said, we just have to click on the billboard so that it doesn't remain a 2D object anymore. Just say OK. And now try to see the object from the multiple angle. It will face the camera. Of course, right now this is the back of the object, so you will see the back. That's how the object was made. And let's put one more object that I have. I would like to take another object. I place it here, right? Simple to do. And again, what we have to do is go to the material and click on the billboard, because this is already done. The object was already imported, so it is already behaving smartly. I mean, the object already has the property assigned to it, so it's already helping us. No problem. Let's try one render now. So as I showed you, one render, it's really quick, easy. Try the reflection, already there, so we can say okay. Maybe we want to change some settings or not, but I'm all good with this. I mean, just check once again what are the things we want to do. We just want to change the sun. You see the power of the software. You see everything is live. You can change the sun height, the sun heading. 80% of the render you see here itself. You have all the analysis here, right? You can do everything with a single click, and it's too fast. Let's render the high definition image and let's see how long does it take. So just say okay. Started rendering, right? You see 19 second remaining. It's this fast. Sometime it takes 30-40 seconds just to open the file, and we are rendering the image in a 20-30 second. Imagine the speed we have. Imagine the power of Lumion. You can use the power of ease, quality, and the speed. So let's try to see this image now. Perfect. All right. Now let's go back and see some of the more option. Maybe I just wanna go inside the home, and we haven't seen the interior object library. So perhaps all those things you see inside this is the interior object library of Lumion. Lumion has thousands of objects inside it. But like for instance, this sofa, we can um, you know select the sofa and change the properties. Maybe I want to change the fabric, or maybe I want to change the color of it. So what I do is I can simply click on the material, or maybe perhaps the object, and I have to click on the furniture. I'm sorry, I just missed it. So click on the furniture, okay, and then that's how you will be able to select it. Go to the selection mode and then change the color. It's that easy. Okay, like so this segment I have already changed. Maybe I want to change it for another segment, one more, and this side also. Perfect, easy. I'm good with this. Now let's go ahead and import one library from SketchUp once again and try to render it and see, number one, how easy to import, number two, how easy to customize, and number three, how easy to render. So I have a chair, I just need to change the name. Please make sure you have a different name and you put it into the right category. So Lumion is just analyzing it, and I can bring in that chair. I can put it here. Uh, this is just an example. Okay, I'm trying to show you one chair. You can bring in thousands of objects. It could be anything. Maybe I change some views. Yes, it looks perfect now. And now I want to change the material. So I click on this further. I go to my library and say fabric. Now I have a multiple type of fabric. I can just select it and then use it for the chair. Once again, to tell you, you can always bring in your own fabric from your own library, from your own material, and make the chair look like the way you want to render it. Okay, so these are some of the options, and I have to choose one of the fabric for this. That's just trying to explore some more fabrics here, and perhaps I use, yeah, this is looking cool. So I keep it, and then I try to change the material of the legs. Click on it, just go to the materials, outdoor, and there are type of foods in outdoor as well as the indoor, so you can choose anything. Now you see that in one of the material there is a D. You can see the capital D on the bottom right corner. This is the symbol for the displacement mapping. You can do displacement mapping with this material. So just trying to select it, or maybe some other, and then again you can control the properties. Okay, gross, reflection, okay, displacement. You won't see the big impact here, but you see the real impact on the some surface material. All right, it's looking good. And what I want to do is I really want to check, how does it look when I render it, when I create the walkthrough, or when I create the rendered images. So I go here and I just have to check some of the settings. Go to FX. This is very interesting tab. You have all the effects at your finger, and you just have to click on that. Like for instance, I'm right now I'm putting the reflections. It's very simple. You may have to just click a couple of times and you get all the reflections. So here you go back, and further you can edit it and render it. So I again want to maybe put 11, and this is rendering. See how beautiful the chair looks like. It's amazing. Imagine you brought a 3D model from outside software. You brought it to Lumion, you changed the material, you're placing it, and you're rendering that within 30 seconds. Isn't it powerful? I mean, this is my favorite feature. I love the speed of rendering, This is with all the options, like all the properties and the reflections and the effects. And once it is being rendered, we can perhaps check it how the render looks like. Wow, this is the chair we brought, right? So this is how you customize the library. Okay, you bring in or your own objects. This is how you use the existing Lumion library. But let's see now how you can animate the objects. For instance, you have people, you have cars, you have birds. You want the car to move, you want people to walk, you want birds to fly. So how do we do it? Maybe we try this area again and try to do some more experiments with the animation. But before that, let's try to delete these objects that we have brought in, because we don't want many people inside it. So I'm just trying to delete them and maybe go back. Okay, simple to do. Click and delete the character. So here, maybe, as I said, we have a huge library. So Lumion has a nice animated people library where you can choose one of the person who is swimming in the swimming pool. So let's try and identify the gentleman. Maybe I have to go to the tab number 3. Yeah. So I put him here, and this is a Lumion library, and if you feel that you want a specific person to bring in, you have a animated object, please bring it in. He's gonna act the same way this object is acting. I'm just giving you an example. You can do everything at your own, the way you want. So I just had to go to the movie, just to see, okay, this guy is doing good. He's actually not swimming, but he's just moving his hands and legs. But he had to click on the mouse movement as I just showed you. Click here and you just have to create the path. Now the idea behind this path is going to be, we create a path and any and every object fall within that path will move in the direction shown. It's very simple. Right now what I'm trying to do is, I'm just trying to create the path that is not straight, it has a lot of a curve. How to do it? Just select the control point and give a smoothness. You see here, for instance, this one, and maybe all remaining 2. Okay, and the next one. Oh, it's a question mark shape, but it does not matter. The gentleman has to swim in that direction now. You can decide the speed. So obviously the swimming speed is not going to be too high, so we keep it low. And the path width, so this width is just to control the movement. If you have multiple objects moving, you can increase the path so that everybody comes. Now let's pick. Here you go. He's swimming in the direction that you have given. Right? Simple, easy, only few clicks. You just define the path first and then make sure the object is within the path, and you have to say play. Let's try with one more object. So this guy was swimming. Now we want to have one more person, maybe walking, So what we will do is we will try and go to the library and pick one more character. Yes, maybe I like this one, and I put him somewhere here. Okay. I had to rotate, I mean just some of the clips. We'll create a new record. Okay, so we just had to create some of the frames. Maybe I want to keep this particular angle. It's kind of, yeah, maybe go a little right. Cool. Maybe third frame and the last one. So I just finished it. What I did is I created the frames, and now I'm just trying to select the options to make the render nice. So again I have to click the mouse move, and the best way to create the mouse move is to create it from the top view. I mean, this is the way I do it. You might have your own style, but this is the way I do it. And the way we created the path previously, we just create a simple path. Okay, and just give it the smoothness, and make sure your animated object falls behind within the width of the mass movement path. Make sure the direction is correct. You want person to move into that direction, then you have some more options like maybe toggle people, toggle cars. Okay, and yeah, we can just finish it. Perfect, and play it. Here you go. You can see the animated object is walking now, you know. I mean, this is not looking so nice video, but when you render it, actually it will come very smooth. You can decide the frame, maybe 60 frame, 120 frame, 200 frame, any quality you want to render, you can render. So this is how we do it. This is how it happens. We spoke about a lot of things, starting from bringing the object from another software, customizing the object, and apply the different material. Okay, and we also saw the Lumion library. So let's try to take one more renders, and of course I have deleted the people, as you can see, because I don't want anybody to be there in the render. Let's take the plain render only with the project. All these settings, you know, sun height, sun settings. I think the real sky is also on, so maybe I just go and check the reflection. I think reflection is there, it's already defined. Okay, perfect, cool. uh, Fine, just go to render and then define the kind of renders you want. I mean, again, you have the options, say number 12, click on it. Wow, fantastic. It looks really nice. I mean, look at the quality of render, and it's giving you this render in a 26 seconds. Imagine the quality what you're getting. I mean, uh, people spend days, at least hours, to get such kind of render, you know. You can solve all your rendering problems with Lumion because it's easy and quick. Uh, Once it is being done, we will again check the render, you know, how does it look. So it's almost done now. Maybe I go and say open the folder and check the render. Fantastic. Okay, so this is what we wanted to show today. I hope all of you have understood how to bring in the object or how to use the existing library. We hope this webinar is going to be helpful for your projects. This webinar will enhance your knowledge, and we are going to come up with lot many other webinars explaining about the features of Lumion and how Lumion can be helpful in your projects. We hope you will attend it soon. When the next webinar comes, you'll get an invitation for sure. Um, Once again, thank you for attending. Thanks a lot for your time.